Hello. Hi everyone. Good afternoon. So guys, if you clearly observe, so far we have created a different sets of scenarios on a simple test functions. But as part of the real world, whenever you are working on our projects, it's mandatory for us to maintain certain standards, which we call it as a frameworks, right? So different organizations follows a different frameworks. But here in the today's session, I just want to give you a simple framework structure that we follow in organizing our XCUI test. In order to do so, the structure that I am following here, there are some folder structure that I am following here within this particular project. The folder structure here is page objects. So the first and a foremost thing that I'm targeting here is a page objects. Within this page objects group, I'm gonna define the page specific locators followed by using those locators, whichever methods we need, I will create all those things. Okay, I will create all those things within this particular page objects. And apart from that, the next thing that we are going to do is a base scripts. Okay, within this base script or a base package, basically base group, what are we going to do means we will maintain a logic that will launch the app and terminate the app. So this base script is the package or a group which contains the logic that will launch the app and as well as a terminate that particular app. And the next one is a test cases is a group. In this test cases group, we are going to create, okay, in this test cases group, we are going to create page specific test cases, okay, page specific test cases in which simply we are creating an object to the page objects Swift files and simply we will access those methods here. Finally, there is a runner package where in which I will create a one Swift file here, where whatever the test cases we have created, I will call those things here. I will call out those things here. That's it. So as said, this is the customized packages or groups that I am maintaining. As per your need, you can do n number of customizations from your end. So, but this is the customization that I am doing right now. So with that note, let us start with a base script. So here, let's go to our, Xcode and right click on your UI catalog, new group. And the group that I'm creating here is base script. This is the group. Inside of this group, okay, new group couldn't be moved because of the same changes. Okay, so let me create it here. Right click, new group, base scripts one. So I have already created the base scripts group earlier. That's the reason I was getting this issue and I have deleted it. Somehow there is an issue. That's the reason it's not recognizing. Hence I have defined it as a base script one, whereas you people can define it as a base scripts. Now, inside of which I'm creating a UI test in which I'm naming it as a base class. In this base class, whichever the logic is there, I don't want that particular logic, I can delete it. And the first and the most important thing that I need to do is let app is equal to XCUI application. Here, I'm adding a public access modifier here, which means that this is going to be a public property which can be accessed in any number of files. And now I'm using override function. And the function that I'm using here is a setup. Whichever the setup of function is there, I'm simply overriding that particular function. Okay, so usually the sleeps is not suggested. Just for an instance perspective, I'm just defining it here and override function tear down, whichever the tear down logic is there, I'm gonna specify that particular logic here. So override, so which is gonna override the setup logic that you have in your XUI test, override a tear down, it's gonna override the logic that tear down does has in this particular XUI test. It's up to you. If you don't want to use a override directly, you can create a function with a separate name. It's up to our wish. But as of now, I created a base class. Inside the base class, I have this setup and as well as a tear down. Come back here, this base script is completed. Now the page objects. So what I'm gonna do right now means a new group. I'm naming it as a page objects one. Okay, initially I have already created a page object, since I am defining it as a page objects one, where in which I'm considering the home page. Okay, the XCUI test, I'm considering the UI kit catalog application home screen. Okay, somewhere we have already created the code for those scenarios, right? Let me pull up the scenarios where I have created my code earlier, and let me try to reuse that particular logic, whatever we have created earlier. So yeah, so we used a switch logic is there. Okay, app.static text.switch. Okay, close it. I don't want this a base test. I don't want this Swift file. I don't want this UI. In this page objects, there is a home page. I don't want the content on the home page. And right now, guys, this home page is extending the XCUI test. But right now, we have already converted the XCUI test into the base class, which is defined inside this base scripts one package. Hence, I marked it as a base class. So this home page is extending this particular base class. So right now, what we need to do as part of this particular thing here, private. Okay, private is another access modifier. Lazy. This is the variable that I am defining. Switch option is equal to app.static text.switch. How many locators are there? You can define all those things with a private keyword. So private means this is an access modifier that can be accessed within the same file itself. You can't access it outside that particular file. Okay, that's fine. I have a defined this a private lazy Swift option is there. I have a defined here. And right now I'm creating a function navigate to switches. Okay, I'm creating a function that navigate to switches. And inside this particular function, switch option, wait for existence of a maximum 10 seconds. Okay, switch option dot exist. So I'm using an if condition here. Okay, I'm using an if condition, and a switch options dot a tap is the command that I'm using. So directly instead of writing down the tap, I have used a wait for existence and I've used an exist, and then I'm using a tap operation here to perform this a tap operation. So perfect. So now I have created a file where in the page, home page objects, I have this particular object followed by I have this particular method logic too. And on this home screen, if you have a multiple objects, you can create all those objects here, and you can create all those customized methods here. So I'm done with the page objects also. Now there is a test cases group that you need to create. So let me create a new group, test cases. Okay. In these test cases group, create a new test case for the home page, which I'm considering it as an home page test. Okay, so here I'm considering this test as a home page test. Again, I don't want this content inside that. Again, this home page is not extending the XCUI test, it's extending the base class. And right now, I need to create an object to the home page, right? So home page locators is equal to home page instance. And right now, function, I'm creating a function. So navigate, switch, something. I have a defined a function. And right now, on top of this particular function, whichever the home page locators are there, just call that particular method, in which we have an exception handling mechanism. I'm just trying to follow that particular approach. Catch, okay, catch and print error encountered. I have defined it. And this line, I'm just surrounding it with a try. Okay, this line I'm surrounding with a try. So this is an exception handling mechanism. Anyways, you guys will be studying this concept inside the Swift programming knowledge, where we have covered about an overview on this exception handling mechanism. So this is the way how exactly I have a defined navigate a switch, okay, or redirect to switch something, redirect to switch. That's it. I have a defined. Now I have a created my tests also. Finally, I need to create a runner where, okay, in the runner, okay, let me create a new file, test execution. Okay, test execution. Inside this test execution, even I don't want anything. I deleted everything, all these things. I don't want all these things. I have deleted it. Now, I want to create a home page locators. Home page test is equal to whichever the home page test is there. I created an instance for that function. What is your function right now? Function test runner. So I'm just defining it as a test runner throws. Okay, this is the throws. And here, whichever the home page test is there, redirect switch, I just called it. Okay, and again, this needs to be surrounded with a try catch. So here I'm just surrounding with a try, followed by the catch print error occurred. But the point here is, if this is the runner class, which is extending, this runner class is also extending the base class. So here you need to call the super means, which is referring to the parent, in which you need to call the setup. And after the execution, you need to call the tear down. Super is referring to the parent. So the parent, the current class is a test execution. The parent class is a base class. From the base class, the setup will be called, and from the base class, the tear down will be called. So this is the hierarchy that we have created. And finally, when you run this particular class, the test will be called, and the activities, it will perform those operations. The setup got a call, and after that, it will navigate to the switches, and then it will perform these operations. So this is the way how exactly you can script. Okay, this is the way how exactly you can perform this particular framework. So it's not a complex structure, guys, and of course, depending on your requirement, you can complicate this structure as well. And another thing here, what I'm doing means, I have selected all these 4 packages, right click, delete, and it's asked me to click on a move to trash and a remove references. So here, before that, if you see this project explorer, so I selected the project, and if you see the project explorer, and now let me try to delete these trash, move to trash. So what happens whenever we did on a move to trash means, sometimes there is a possibility for us to encounter an issue here. The issue out over there is build input file cannot found import or a plist. Okay, the commonly encountered error if you move some files to trash means, okay, if you move some file to the trash means, basically you will get build input files cannot found. Okay, build input files cannot found, info.plist, some error message will come. In such situations, whenever you get into that errors, select that particular project. Here inside the target, you will find those targets. Basically select all those things and hit this minus button. Automatically those targets will be removed. That's it. Okay, this is the way, this is an issue, and that's the solution what exactly you need to implement. Perfect. Done the deal, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.